Good morning. This is KELOLAND on the go with all you need to know in news and weather as you start your day.
Officials in Madison are urging residents to check that their gas meters are free of snow after a second house explosion in the last month. The Madison Fire Department posted this surveillance video from Broadwater Bar and Grill that caught the moment the house went up into flames. Officials told KELOLAND News that there was nobody home at the time of the explosion and no reported injuries.
The Madison Fire Department's Facebook post goes on to detail that heavy weight and pressure from the snow can cause pipes to break and fail. Snow can also clog the vent on the regulator, causing a buildup of pressure and gas leaks in the home. Officials say in both home explosions they've seen this month, there was 10 or more feet of snow on the gas meter. They urge that if your home's gas meter is covered in snow, the home is not safe to be in. One person is dead and another is hurt following a crash south of Huron over the weekend. The South Dakota Department of Public Safety says it happened just after 5 o'clock Friday afternoon. Authorities say a pickup was eastbound when it failed to stop at a stop sign.
It then went into the intersection and hit a southbound car. Both drivers were taken to the Huron Hospital. The 22-year-old driver of the car later died from his injuries. The 65-year-old driver of the pickup suffered serious, non-life-threatening injuries. The Hamilton County Sheriff's Office says icy roads led to multiple crashes in different parts of the county. Authorities say the first happened northeast of Castlewood just before 1 o'clock Sunday. A car was southbound when the driver lost control. The car then went into the ditch and rolled. The driver was taken to the hospital for their injuries.
The second crash happened a little over 4 hours later west of Lake Norden. The Hamilton County Sheriff's Office says a pickup was westbound when the driver lost control on icy roads. The pickup then went into the ditch and rolled. No one was hurt. The Sheriff's Office is investigating both crashes.
Now let's send it over to meteorologist Scott Munn for a check of our weather. A chilly start to the work week, Scott.
Cold start to the work week. We are looking at numbers probably in the teens and 20s for highs in eastern South Dakota today. We'll try to bring in some sunshine, not as windy as what we've had over the past couple of days. And then here comes the warmth starting tomorrow. Wednesday, I think we'll have the peak of the warmth, and then after that, we fall back down into the valley as we get into Thursday with strong northerly winds and falling temperatures by Thursday, as well as some falling snow. More details on the KELOLAND Live Doppler forecast with Brian coming up.
Thank you, Scott. The official start date of the golf season is unpredictable, but things are definitely running behind schedule this spring due to snow.
Sioux Falls Golf's trio of courses, including Prairie Green, Elmwood, and Keene Park, are currently covered in a blanket of snow after opening early in recent years.
We've been blessed the last 3 years to get going early March. Obviously right now, looking outside, that's not going to happen, but we're staying busy, keeping things rolling, and when Mother Nature lets us, we're going to open up the gates.
Clark says 5 good days of weather could melt the snow quickly and hopes to see the courses open before the end of March. Just over a month ago, we brought you the story of a Brookings 8-year-old who's in need of a new heart and is now in Chicago waiting for a transplant. Camden Madsen was born with a heart defect and had his first open heart surgery when he was only 6 days old. He's now had over 20 total surgeries.
Camden has been staying full-time in a Chicago hospital since mid-February. While waiting on the transplant list, he had another surgery last week.
I feel like during the day he has a pretty good time. I think all the nurses love him, and he just has a pretty good time during the day. People are always in and out and wanting to hang out with him, but during the night he just has kind of a tough time. I think that's when, the people kind of stopping by and visiting, and so then he gets pretty homesick.
If you'd like to help the family, there's a GoFundMe and details for an upcoming fundraiser attached to this story on KELOLAND.com. Sunday was a big day for the South Dakota State women as they learned their opening round opponent in the NCAA tournament.
The Jackrabbits earned a 9 seed and will play USC on Friday. SDSU is making its first trip to the Big Dance since 2021 and 11th in 15 years. But getting to celebrate alongside friends and family is always a welcomed experience.
kind of calms the nerves a little bit, just knowing where we're going, who we're playing. But ultimately, I'm just super excited, and being able to see that with my teammates and a lot of good fans here at Cubbies tonight was it was a good moment. So
it's a fun atmosphere here to be at Cubbies and get to see our names on the TV, but we're excited about this. So obviously we'll learn more about our competition and whatnot this week.
The Jackrabbits will play USC in Blacksburg, Virginia. Tickets will be available for purchase this afternoon, beginning at 1 o'clock Central Time.
That's a look at some of our top stories.
Now let's get one last look at your weather with meteorologist Brian Karstens. Brian?
All right, weather starts off cold, at least for the numbers relative to where we should be for this time of the year. We'll be stuck in the 20s for highs eastern Ketherland. We will, though, fit in some 30s in western South Dakota, probably Rapid City to Custer, at least into the mid and upper 30s. For tonight, we start to watch the wind numbers cranking up from Pierre to Rapid City. That wind is going to be a factor tomorrow. It's going to be blowing in eastern Ketherland 20 to 40. I'll show you a special map on winds in just a moment. Look at some of these temperatures, though, Tuesday. 50s, maybe a couple of 60-degree readings could show up even as early as tomorrow. West River, Sioux Falls, forget that. That's not going to happen. But we'll be in the mid-30s, but then the wind will make it feel colder. Can we find some better news Wednesday? Yes, we can. We're going to start the morning with some wind out of the south. Might even hold near freezing or above Wednesday morning. That'll be interesting to watch. And then look at this. Wednesday, we're going to put full power behind melting snow, and that's going to be a trend that'll last about 24 to 36 hours. It's not going to be a big window, but there will be a noticeable difference in the snowpack when we start Wednesday morning versus Thursday morning. So that 24-hour period, look at winter. It may hit 70. It's been showing that now for several days that somebody down in that south central area would be pretty warm, at least in the 60s. Now, can we hold that into Thursday? No, we're not. And we're going to see a pretty dramatic change in the weather. Let's march through this wind outlook. There's the developing south wind tomorrow, and that'll be 20 to 40 East River. The wind on Wednesday looks steady in the morning, I would say, but not as bad overall. So I still want to say Wednesday has a lot of good things to talk about. Thursday, it gets messy. We're going to start looking at north winds coming in, piping in from North Dakota. The air is going to start to get colder and colder. And how much wind we have to deal with, that's a big question. We've got some pretty big numbers now showing up Thursday night into Friday. A lot of agreement amongst the various models on windy weather. Now, the next question is, are we going to get some snow with that? And that's a harder call. There's probably going to be some snow. I could make an argument at this point that, regardless of how much snow we actually get from this, whether it be a couple of inches of snow or maybe several inches of snow, the wind is still going to be your number one story. And I think that will drive this forecast Thursday night into Friday. So pay attention to the snow forecast. We've got a lot of things to hammer out on an exact track. I think we've got too much variability to make that call yet today, but that will be something we'll be doing analysis on later today, and tomorrow we'll start unpacking some details. We'll see how much of that actually flares up here. It's March. You know how the story goes. You just got to be patient sometimes with these snow forecasts. We're in the 20s today. East River, 30s west. We're going to include that chance of snow in Sioux Falls on Thursday at 60%. And by the way, it probably would start as some rain and then switch to snow. Leftovers on Friday, a lot of wind on Friday, so that could be blowing snow. And again, there's a lot to unpack, but it's going to be cold. Wind chill values on St. Patrick's Day will be below zero part of the day. Saturday, not much better. So it's going to be a cold stretch, days 5, 6, and 7. Again, some snow chances are there for Thursday. That's also true in Pierre. Biggest story will be the drop in the temperature. And look at Rapid and Pierre. We go from 50s and 60s tomorrow and Wednesday, and then it just stops in its tracks and gets back into winter mode once again. Check out more details online at ketherland.com.